Thanks for tuning into the video on how to fix your own hamstring. It's going to involve doing strengthening exercises and a running program to get you back being able to sprint again. We'll go through all of that in this video. Hi, my name is Tommy Brennan. I'm the owner of the Pain and Performance Clinic based in Lucan in Dublin. So, when you tear your hamstring, you're most likely sprinting. Your hamstring's job is to bring your hip back like that and your knee up like this. So when you are driving your knee forward and extending your leg like that, the hamstring doesn't have the capacity to cope with it, and that's generally where you get your tears the majority of the time. There's a weakness there that needs to be addressed. If you're out of the first 7 to 10 days, then you need to push on your hamstring rehab a little bit more. We've done phase 1 with the early stage exercises. Now here we're going to go through 4 specific strengthening exercises for your hamstring, but it's not just about those exercises. At this stage, you need to push it on a little bit. A lot of people go to 8 or 10 reps and they never push it to the level that they need to get to. So we'll talk about that as we're doing the exercises. Let's get straight into the exercises. Here's the first one we're going to look at. The exercise here is an isometric hold where your hamstring is working in a lengthened position. So I'm going to lie down on my back, come up about 1.5 feet, push the ball of your foot into the wall. Now you're going to lift your hips up just enough so that your fist can get in underneath your tailbone. Lie back. What you're doing here with your foot now, and this is important, you're applying inward pressure through the ball of your foot into the wall, and there's a slight little bit of traction down into the wall. I'm holding my hips level, nice and relaxed, and as I'm doing this I can feel tension work building up in my hamstring. So you stay in this position with that intent through the ball of your foot and work the muscle like that. Now, the key here is how much do you do? We want to get to a stage where you're able to do about 45 seconds in a hold. But just to be clear on it, you should test your strong leg. See what you can hold on that. 45 seconds is a good marker. What we're going to do is do 3 of those in a set, and you'll do 3 sets of this in your rehab program. So if you're able to hold it for 45 seconds at a time, that's great. You mightn't be there at the start, so you build towards it. It might be 20 seconds. But you certainly want your injured leg to be at the same level as the uninjured leg. Use that as a marker for yourself. Okay, that's the first exercise. The next one we're going to look at is an RDL exercise. This one here is one that we see people doing incorrectly a lot of the time. So just to be clear on it, what you want to do is we're going to get the hamstring to lengthen. It's a hip-based exercise, so you have a slight bend in the knee. Now what you're doing is you're going to pivot through your hips and push your other leg back to the back wall. Now what we see a lot of people doing is, as they do this, if you just look at my knee a little closer, as they go, they bend their knee a little bit more, which actually takes tension off the hamstring. So, foot is planted in the ground, slight bend in the knee, pivot through here, push the other leg back to the back wall, and you should almost be trying to straighten this leg out. It never straightens, but you should be trying to put that little bit of pressure to cause tension through the hamstring here. If balance is a factor, let's not have balance as a limiting factor. All you need to do is put your fingertip on the wall and push back like that. And you should feel the tension along it. So if we do it here, in the bodyweight version, pushing back as far as you can. So in this bottom position, you're almost like a T. Your chest is parallel to the ground. Really focus on pushing that foot back as far as you can, and you know you're doing it right if you feel tension along there. It's not when you're going to overly fatigue on, but you should feel that tension. Body weight, let's go in around 12 repetitions for that one there. Next exercise we're going to move on to is the 2-leg Swiss ball rollouts. So, lying on your back, if you don't have a ball, you can put your heels up on a bench or a chair. But what we're going to do here in this one is start with the ball in close to your hips, downward intent through your heels. And here in this position, I'm going to keep my hips up and I'm pushing down through my heels and rolling the ball in and out. Go with that steady tempo of maybe 1 second out, 1 second in. Try not to let the hips drop. And as you're doing this, pushing your heels down into the ball, you're going to feel tension in both hamstrings. Now, pushing like that. This is one where it's important to not limit yourself to 8 or 12 reps. I want you to push this one and stop where you feel you could only do another 2 good repetitions. So your reps can change as the week goes on and you can see your own progress, but this is one where you do need to work the muscle quite a bit, or you can work the muscle quite a bit. So stop that one with about 2 or 3 repetitions in reserve. On to our 4th exercise. This one here mimics the mechanism of injury. So what you're just going to do is drive your knee up, and it's almost like you're trying to kick a door open. So you drive your knee up and flick your foot out. Knee drive and flick it out. Like that. And again, it's not one you're going to fatigue on, so 12 reps is fine for that one there. So there's the 4 exercises that you absolutely need to do. And what I would do is I would do 3 sets of all of those. We're going to go through in a second how you'd fit this into your week. But at the end of your 3 sets, you certainly should feel like you really have worked the muscle quite hard and you've enough of it done. If you're doing other gym work, at this stage, everything should be pretty fine in terms of if you like to squat or deadlift, do step-ups, lunges, they're all fine to do. They're not fixing your hamstring in isolation. What you absolutely need to do is target the hamstring specifically. So they're the 4 ones that I would go with at this stage, and you can go with your gym work. Now, how do you fit all this together with the turnaround runs, which we'll look at last? So if you just look here, the point of the rehab at this stage, like it can get lost with so much information out there and there's so many different exercises. You need to up the capacity of the muscle. There needs to be hip and knee dominant exercises in it, which we have covered here, but I want you to push the intensity here. So what you're going to do is you're going to do your running session on one day. The following day you will do your rehab by around 3 sets, and that's where you should be working the muscle really hard, and then it's set up so that you have a rest day the day after doing your rehab, so you're not running with a tired hamstring. So you just do your running, do your rehab, take a rest day, running, rehab, rest day, running, rehab, rest day, go like that. So you're never running on a tired hamstring, and it also allows you to properly push the hamstring work. We see a lot of people here in the clinic who are doing some work on the hamstring almost every day, but it's always at about 60%. And then sprinting requires 100%, but they've never pushed it to that level. So I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions on this, feel free to comment below or send us a message, and look at our video now on the turnaround runs to follow that type of running program, which will take you up to the end stage. Our final video on this will go through the return to play exercises and how you know you're properly prepared to return to full sprinting or full team training. So here's a sample running program that you would do. They're called turnarounds. So from the end line to the 20-meter line, you're just building up. This area here, you're going to maintain the pace, and then you're going to decelerate for another 20 meters, turn around straight away, build up, maintain the pace, decelerate. So up is 1 run, down is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 runs is a set, and then just do a slow walk as your recovery, and that's 1 set. What you're trying to do is maybe 5 sets of this, and just find your starting point for this place here. So if it's early stage, it might be down at 30 or 40%. Try and get that done maybe for 2 days, and then up it by 10%. So you might go from 30% one day, 40% after, as soon as you're ready, then up to 50, 60, 70. And I would use this template all the way through the rehab. So at your end stage, you will be going at 100% through here. So start off at the pace that you can cope with, where in this early stage, you might have a slight little ache in the hamstring, but you're not sprinting or opening up. So slight little ache, keep it at that pace, and then after maybe 2 sessions of that, you'll be able to up it a little bit. Again, if you have any questions in relation to hamstring rehab, feel free to comment below or reach out. Thanks.